So welcome to my presentation. I appreciate the fact that you're here. I still have more than last time I was here. That's encouraging. So my presentation is about medical biometrics-based gas discharge visualization technology approach to survival research. You probably wonder, what the heck is this, right? It's a different approach to survival research. Regularly or normally we use EEG technology. So EEG technology has one limitation. Once you're dead, you don't have signals to record. So we decided to go in a different direction by using the bioenergy model that is non-local, that assumes that your consciousness is a set of energies that can be measured beyond what we call death. So let me talk to you a bit about, before I continue, the presentation for today is available. We have a QR code in case you want to download it. It's right there. In case you want to download it and follow the presentation. I also like to take a little moment to thank my team. Professor Konstantin Korokop, a professor of biophysics in Russia, and also the president of BioWell, Jennifer Hamilton, a researcher with the Consciousness Research Foundation, and our president of the Consciousness Research Foundation, Chet Swanson, that is here with us today. So, in any case, let me talk to you a bit about the bioenergy model, how it differs from the neuroscientific model. In this particular model, we consider your consciousness to be multidimensional. What it means multidimensional is not just limited to the physical realm, and you have multiple layers of existence. The first layer we call the etheric body that communicates to the physical body by using 7 nervous centers or energy centers that connect through your organs by using the nervous system. At the higher level of frequency, we have something called the emotional body that contains all the emotional information that vibrates at different frequencies and communicates also to your physical body by using these 7 energy centers. And at a very higher level of frequency, we have the intellectual part of your consciousness that is responsible for your thoughts, your ideas, that communicates also to your physical body by using these 7 nervous centers. We conducted, before this research, a literature review in order to find out if there was enough evidence that this model was used successfully in the research field of psychology. And we found a ton of references that is cited in this paper that we have here that provides evidence that researchers have been using this model successfully to measure anxiety, stress, depression, and even diagnose mental disorders. So the bioenergy model is compatible with the OR model of Hameroff and Penrose, in the sense that we also believe that the consciousness is non-local. But we provide a bit more beyond this by explaining exactly how to measure it. Because it's something to say, well, yes, it's non-local, it's fine. But how we can actually prove it? How can we actually measure something so we can understand what's going on at the higher level? At the very low level, the only thing we have is light. Is the photon effect that we have. The photon is a particle that is very generous because we can measure it, but it can also travel over multiple dimensions. Therefore, we can capture at the physical level by taking just a picture energy. That reflects what's going on at the higher level. So that's the basis of our research. Now the question is, how do this relates to the survival research? before we embark into this research, we say, okay, how are we going to prove that there's a continuation of life by using this technology? And if you know a little bit about the survival hypothesis, we have two main variables here. One is personality, and the other one is identity. Okay, so in this case, we say, let's limit ourselves to personality. Can we measure personality? That's the question. And can we measure it after that? And we found some references in literature. This reference is based on computer analysis, artificial intelligence analysis, that provides evidence of correlations between energy measurements and pessimistic and optimistic personalities. So this gives us an indication that maybe there was a way to go. We also conducted a study. This is an article that was published in 2024 that looked at transplants of organs. So when patients were recipients of organ transplants, they experienced change of personality. And the personality, it was reflected or similar to the donor. Therefore, that gives us an indication that perhaps this was evidence that the bioenergy model was real. In the bioenergy model, we have organs connected to the higher levels of existence, including emotional and mental energies. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense that some energy is still there after the transplant, and that will explain why people will experience personality changes. So there's a reference there for you in case you want to see the details of the study. So for us to be able to put this in some context that is accepted in the psychological, I would say, psychological research community, we decided to go with the MBTI framework. Why MBTI? MBTI is a framework that is pretty much based on the Carl Jung psychology. Carl Jung also believed in the soul or non-local existence. And MBTI has been tested successfully, mainly in applications for career counseling, for HR, et cetera, et cetera. In the MBTI, we have 16 personality types. The summary of the types are here: extrovert versus introvert, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, perceiving versus judging. I mean, the details are in the presentation. I mean, we don't have much time to go over the whole psychology. But in general, we have individuals that might be more people-oriented. Some people are more inner-oriented. Some people are more empathetic. Some people are more logical. This is the idea of some people being more mental versus being more emotional, et cetera, et cetera. So the idea was to put this in some kind of framework so we can compare the measurements with something established already and accepted in the psychological field. So what we're getting from the GDB device is two types of information. One type of information is the energy measurement. It is actually the energy level that is measured for each of the nervous centers. And we get information that is called alignment. So what exactly is alignment? Alignment is a measurement that will allow us to measure how close is this energy to a frequency. It's a resonance effect. We believe that your personality resonates with these particular nervous centers, and the more resonance you have, the more you reflect a particular personality trait. That is the assumption. This is based also on a research study, a recent one from 2023, where researchers were able to confirm the frequencies of these nervous centers also by using the GDBI technology. So based on this information, we decided to map, with the help of Ayurveda medicine. Ayurveda medicine is a medicine that is legal in India. also taught by universities. It is widely accepted, almost as traditional medicine. Therefore, we use this framework for us to map psycho-emotional threats with the nervous centers that we measure. And the assumption here is that the more resonance an energy will have, and the resonance is based on the measurement of alignment. The more aligned is an energy, the more likely a personality trait will be reflected. So based on that, we decided to go and embark in a research with a case study. But before that, we took a look at the previous studies that were conducted with this technology. In particular, a study from 1998 that was conducted by Dr. Korolkov. In this experiment, he used the same technology, but he only focused on the after death. So what he did is, he went to the morgue, and he categorized the cases based on 3 types. The first type was what we call calm death, people that just die from natural causes. The second group was unexpected death, people that die unexpectedly from an accident, for example. And the group 3 was the people that die from a natural death. Somebody was murdered, for example. Somebody was killed. So based on that, he categorized these 3 groups, and he measured the energy over a period of time with the intention to see if there was any information that could help him to intuit that there was consciousness information from these measurements. So what he did is, after his study, he published a paper, and he found there were patterns. There were patterns that reflected the personality, or not the personality, the type of that each person experienced for the case studies. In 2023, we decided to conduct a preliminary study that was presented at this conference last year, with the purpose to see if there was any correlation between energy measurements and the death process. At the time, we didn't understand really well what is going on. Okay, let's see if we can find out if there's any correlation, any information that can give us an indication of how to use this information to find out things about the death process. So during this study, we had 1 participant. In this case, we only collected data from 1 point in the body by using a technology he calls the glove, which is basically something you just wear. And from there, you take just 1 measurement. It's like an average of all your energy. And the participant allowed us to measure information before and after that. So what we found here is that even though energy decreases as this person approaches death, just before death, there's an increase of energy, a sudden increase of energy. So that gives us an indication that maybe there's something there that we need to look more closely. So in this study, what we did is we expanded the scope, and we decided to take measurements from all the fingers in order to give us more information and be able to measure what we call personality. The idea of this study was to say, well, can we measure personality? That's the first thing. And then if we can measure it, can we use this information to provide proof of survival? So that was the hypothesis formulated for this study. So what we did after this, we took measurements. We enrolled 1 participant. The participant kindly helped us to give us information by collecting data. In this case, we used the GDV device by collecting fingertip data that will give us enough data to monitor all the different nervous centers before that and after that. So here we provide an hypothesis. Here the assumption is that the most predominant energy in the measurement reflects your personality. So we say, okay, let's take the measurements. Let's see which energy has the highest energy. Let's see if that matches with the MDTI test. We give the participant a test before that, and we compare. There's a match. After that, we compare. We compare energy percentages before and after that, and we measure and see if there's any significant difference. If there's no significant difference, we say, okay, there is a high chance that personality survives, assuming that energy information carries your personality information. And if there's a high significant difference, that means maybe your personality doesn't survive, or maybe we just don't have it right? So that was what we did before the study. We gave the participant a personality test. The idea was to identify the MBTI type for us to compare with the measured information. And this particular test gave us information about the personality of the individual, so we can categorize it among these 16 personality types that the MBTI framework proposes. So these are the results of the energy measurements before death. So we started there on the 8th. The person died on the 29th. I'm not too sure the month, but we go day by day. We try to take 1 or 2 measurements each day. And then we compare with the after death. So this is the after death. Unfortunately, due to family consent, we were only able to get information for 1 day. Our intention was to get information for several days, but given the sensitivity of the situation, it's not easy to get consent for that. So we got consent for 1 day. So we took measurements after that for 1 day. And after this, we observed a similar pattern as the previous study. In this case, we have all the energies combined in this graph. If you notice, just before that, again, there's an increase of energy. Okay? So this increase of energy seems to be a pattern that is repeated, at least in 2 of the studies that we conducted. This is the average. We took an average of all the energies. So now you can see there's also a spike of energy increase just before that. And then we calculated averages and standard deviations for each of the energies. The most predominant or the most influential energy was identified as the Anahata energy. We took averages, we took standard deviations, and then we compared with the MDTI results. Okay? So these are the results, and we found there was a match for these particular traits. A person that was very empathetic, value of people's feelings, warm, etc., etc. We also had yes, 5 minutes? Okay. Anyways, let me just try to move on. Then we also have measurement of alignment in order for us to be able to verify that the energy was also aligned. And then we decided to conduct an hypothesis test. We realized that 2 energies did not pass the test, meaning the Muladhara and the Sahasrara energies, the Ajna energies seem to have, Ajna seems to have an increase of energy, and the Muladhara has a decrease of energy. Therefore, that gave us some results to interpret. First of all, the first conclusion, one of the analyses is that the results give us the potential of this type of approach to measure personality and to be able to show personality survival. It's only one case. Obviously, we need more than that to show that this is real and there's consistency. And we also found consistent results with the previous results of neuroscience. Neuroscience shows that at the time of death, most people present gamma states, high levels of frequency. In this case, we have high levels of energies. Therefore, there seems to be a high correlation between brain activity and energy increase, something that we need to investigate more and more to see how they correlate, why they correlate with each other. And we also try to explain this increase and decrease of energy in these two types of energies. First, Ajna. Ajna, according to the Ayurveda tradition, is responsible for intuition, is responsible for high level of consciousness. It's what Indians call the third eye. So it makes sense that the person will, at the time of death, will have a lot of energy there, especially when people go through things like life reviews. And the energy that decreases, the Muladhara, it makes a lot of sense to us because that's responsible for the energy of your body. So when you're dying, obviously, the energy seems to be decreasing. But the other four energies seem to have consistent results, meaning they seem to have not changes that are significant according to the hypothesis test. Some more interpretation of the results. We also try to link this to potential explanation of why life reviews happen. Life reviews, we think about a lot of information that is going to your brain. Therefore, the brain will require this high level of energy that might have a way for us to explain these life reviews that people experience just before death, the increase of energy linked to the gamma states. And finally, we talk about trying to link this to the OR model by trying to think that this type of energy increase looks like needed for information transfer. So we're thinking there seems to be going on a lot of information transfer for what we call the biofield to the, we don't know why, it is called the unified field. And this is probably explained by the increase of energy that people show just before death. So that's it. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our presentation. And here we are open for questions now.
Thank you, Rolls. I think we have time for one question.
Thank you for your work. Regarding the energy centers, in the beginning of your presentation, you said that the emotional center of the body contains, or the emotional center has the highest energetic charge. And I'm wondering what the variance is compared to the other energy centers, or if you indexed those in any way.
Well, this was only based on one case. Okay, this case, this particular person, yes, he presented a high level of energy in that nervous center, but we cannot generalize. This is just one case. Okay, so that's linked to his personality. Yes. That's why we say, okay, this person is more emotional, seems to have what we call, empathy or sensing in the MBTI framework, but it doesn't mean that everyone, right, will have this. It's just one case. I don't know if that answers your question.
So would you expect different indexes for different?
Yes, I mean, everybody has different personality. And we're trying to come with a new paper that will show the differences of energy levels according to personality type. We strongly believe that personality can be measured. It's coded somewhere at the consciousness level. And through the device, you might be able to measure it, and we can determine your type of personality by measuring the energy. That's something we're working on. That will be the next paper, probably next year.
Do you have your software here?
We are actually looking to build a software as well, yeah.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hamilton. I am the primary data collector for this research project. And I'm here to invite you to consider joining our team of researchers. What we're looking for are people that are engaged in hospice work. So this would either be through a service, or it could be through your independent work. So you may be an independently contracted death doula who is going to be building a relationship with people who are in hospice. And you are ideally suited to being able to explain this project to them and enlisting their help in expanding our understanding of consciousness and its relationship to the divine, to the spirit, and to the subtle body. This project is built on trust. We have to take time to really get to know the client who's going to be allowing us to make these measurements before, potentially during, and even after death. So to do that, we need to have a very clear understanding of the project itself, what's entailed, and then being able to simplify it in language that sounds inviting to someone that they may want to participate in this. The biggest draw that I see in the people that have agreed to do this is that they see this as a legacy, something that they are contributing to knowledge, to science, and to that understanding of consciousness. The other people that are very interested in this are people that have a strong spiritual background or curiosity about consciousness, and even a curiosity about death and what happens to us when we die, what happens to us after we die. And that's really what this research is about. And when they hear what is entailed and how simple it is, and that it isn't invasive, it's not painful, it doesn't take a lot of time to make the measurements, just once you get the hang of it, just a few minutes to be able to do this, they really get excited and are really eager participants. I've even had people say, are we going to do readings today when I go to see them? So they love to see the result, because with the BioWell, you get an image of the person's real-time energy field. That's pretty exciting to see. So you can see where there's integrity in the field, where there are maybe some challenges or deficits in the field because of disease process or trauma. And they can see that, and it's very exciting. It's also very compelling for their family and or loved ones who are there with them, that they see these readings. So oftentimes I will even I'll do a BioWell reading for them so that they can have a direct experience that this is harmless, that it's not painful, and it doesn't take much time to do. And then they get to see their energy field, which is very exciting for them. So that's kind of the person that we're looking for, is going to be someone who can explain things clearly. You're going to have, of course, the luxury of time, which we don't always have in hospice, but you have to have the luxury of time to build trust with these people so that they understand that not only are they going to participate, but that also if they change their mind, that's okay too, and that they can withdraw. I haven't had anyone do that. But I always like to make that very clear, that this is something that I'm not going to insist be done if there's a change of heart. So you need the luxury of time. You need to be able to build trust. And you need to be able to explain simply and clearly what the research project is, and then pitch it to the person in a way that will be attractive to them. And I've had real good success with this. So that's who we're looking for. You may be outside of a hospice service, or you may not be a death doula and feel like for whatever reason, maybe you have some other access to people who are in this time of their life. But I would say in general, these are the people that are going to be ideally suited to this research work. So thank you for considering that.